the Chester County History Center Library presents History and Haunts, a special series that takes a look at some of Chester County's spookiest topics and traditions. Through a careful lens on the past, we'll explore ghostly sightings, folklore, and legends that help shape some of the supernatural lore of our region. So settle in and join us as we journey into the eerie echoes of Chester County's history. Note: the images in this video were taken by a ghost hunter and urban explorer who visited the abandoned Embreeville State Hospital before its demolition in 2022. The creator wished to remain anonymous, but willingly shared their photographs and recollections of that night. Prior to its demolition, the defunct Embreeville State Hospital in West Bradford was one of Chester County's most famous landmarks, a sprawling site that drew ghost hunters and urban explorers alike. In 2014 or 2015, one explorer ventured in under the cover of darkness. They had heard stories that the building was once a debtor's prison, where those who failed to pay were buried in unmarked graves at the bottom of the hill. In reality, that story seems to have been a misunderstanding of the site's potter's fields, where the poor and the unclaimed were interred. But the rumor only added to the sense of dread. Walking through the complex, they found themselves in what remained of the living quarters. Personal effects of former patients still lingered, scattered amongst collapsed ceilings, ripped out plumbing, and hallways where medical documents and photographs were strewn across the floor. Some sections had been sealed off, while others had clearly been used for more recent intrusions. A massive party in the auditorium had left behind bottles, broken furniture, and even shotgun shells and bullet casings. In the basement, ankle-deep water pooled in shadows, and the scene felt like something out of a survival horror game. They were warned of security patrols and kept their stay brief, arriving around midnight and leaving a few hours later. It was enough time to feel the weight of the place. Strange was the word they chose, strange to stand among the remnants of lives once confined there, and strange to feel watched by walls that had already begun to crumble. Embreeville's haunted reputation has deep roots. The site began in 1798 as the Chester County Poorhouse. Also known as the Almshouse, it was built to provide work, food, and shelter for the poor, the elderly, and those with mental health challenges. It soon became a self-sustaining community, with barns, quarries, a lime kiln, and even a school. By the early 20th century, the Almshouse transitioned into the Embreeville State Hospital, reflecting a new era in mental health care. At its peak, Embreeville was even noted by the American Psychiatric Association as a model institution. But like many state hospitals, its history is layered with neglect, shifting policies, and eventual decline. By the 1980s, it closed, and for decades it sat abandoned, slowly decaying until its demolition. But like many state hospitals, its history is layered with neglect, shifting policies, and eventual decline. By the 1980s, it closed, and for decades it sat abandoned, slowly decaying until its demolition. Ghost hunters and explorers were drawn to it for more than cheap thrills. Places like Embreeville occupy a unique space in what scholars call dark tourism, sites visited because of their connection to tragedy, death, or mystery. These visits are rarely only about fear. Some sociologists describe them as a form of legend tripping, where people collectively engage with the folklore and aura of haunted places. Ghost hunters often use EMF meters, voice recorders, and thermal cameras not only to seek proof, but to add a layer of ritual, a scientific performance that bridges belief and skepticism. The philosopher Jacques Derrida once argued that the past never fully leaves us, it just haunts us. Embreeville's past as a poorhouse, hospital, and even briefly a juvenile detention center carries with it the ghosts of forgotten lives, of poverty and confinement, and of people who are never given proper recognition in death. Whether or not spirits roam its halls, the power of place comes from its history and from what visitors bring with them: fear, curiosity, and a desire to connect with something beyond themselves. Today the buildings are gone, bulldozed and erased from the landscape, but the photographs and memories remain. The anonymous ghost hunter who walked those halls in silence may not have seen an apparition, but their story reminds us that some ghosts are found not in figures or sounds, but in the lingering traces of lives lived and lost. Embreeville may no longer stand, but it endures as one of Chester County's most haunting chapters. Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this tale from Chester County's eerie history. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and please check out the other videos in this series if you're hungry for more.